7 Saturday. I don't know, half an hour ago, someone bring me doing noise, not lifting or bang, 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 more perhaps. What's going now? Worries on earth, I suppose. I have said this, I will repeat, because I suppose there's intuitive feeling of problem created to someone, a young lady. They have changed recently the tone of a certain number of words, as I have commented, because I detected after in the video. Do you forget to do the explanation if need to someone other? Have you killed someone by these reasons? No one answers to these crimes. The reality is this kill. I hope everything is well with you. What can I say more? This is a phantom play with phantom hires. Sometimes seems to have heart and flesh. Nevertheless, are images. Images are images. Reflex. They are not real peoples. I do not have relations with phantoms, as I'm tired to say. I can afford even to have relations with phantoms. Nevertheless, phantoms are very beautiful, by many different reasons, sometimes even by good hearts. Each time more nuanced difference and difficult question, difficult to understand reality and what synthetic images, 3D, whatever. I suppose it's not even the case. Perhaps not even any case, because cross pieces of narratives can make sufficient confusion on what to destroy it, I suppose. I'm saying very strange thing. I said this sometimes during these 20 years of slavery and exploitation and exterminium. It's even sometimes difficult now, for 20 years, I suppose, to help others. Many times it is dangerous for the people who have good hearts and intend to help others. Because all this is square on these alias of alias and phantoms and slices of narratives that can be a part of true or part of lie, or be all lie, or be bullets to kill some other. What I know. How can I know? This can even be directed for someone in the other side of the planet. There will be a surplus of confidence in a face-to-face presence speaking. Do you think today this will be a surplus of understanding, of confidence, of possibility of confidence? Zabriskie point was on the table some months already ago, if I remember well. The return of the metaphor of Zabriskie point. It's a very old movie for the 60s or 70s. Can you figure? It's abuse of power, Nazi abuse of power, without any respect for any rule, and robbers, and administration and crimes. That's what I'm living. Not by my option. God, I don't know about my son, know about my family. And I'm every day confronted with crimes and shadow plays, done apparently by humans. Sometimes happens at my steps, these crimes. A way to understand what? Your life or hell, or my death, or my life. Fuckers, no one answers straight. There's any more law working on this planet. Be any more women on the planet? Perhaps it's the more accurate question. You are all whole. Or am I to say you are whole peoples? that confronts me with this reality of Nazism and perversion and crimes, an affront and infamy by the back, or three quarters, in the best of possibilities of Engels' comprehension, seems so behavior like dogs. There's humans, still humans on this earth. Anyone answers me straight. What I say at 10:17 this Sunday that someone has announced brum 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 on the stairs. It's not nice to live like this every day during 20 years. These are certain methods, I must insist. These are not normal behaviors of mankind. You say to me there's no more mankind, perhaps. And also a certain feeling of afraid, afraid. What you want, who want what. This is perhaps the most accurate formulation. Some small noises of a certain anxiety of fear that I heard here, which means people that I suppose are sleeping here all day and so by the night. And even is portrayed on these slices on this heavy network of hell with robots and things like that and fights. Humans against robots have no chances. This must be a very well way to make fear to people. Even start a few days ago by presenting a documentary on 2025, if I remember well, some not far away years of a demonstration of a show of robots on stage working all together without programmation or remote control in life. I do not even know if the robotics goes until this point of this is a construction even in 3D images. Nevertheless, of course, this is can be a way to make fear to youth. There was a very beautiful lady, sweet, in a slice that was coming to, I suppose, the parent's bed and say, I want the bedtime story to sleep, which was a normal thing before, I suppose. There's a conjunct of undefined fear and also mixed peoples with flesh apparently already mixed with certain parts do the battles and the damages, the physical damage with pieces. And yesterday there was a fight, and whatever is this story is, there's a Tiananmen or whatever entity abstract like the Great Moloch, as I'm calling, that is controlling mankind for the last 3,000 years or whatever, or 2,000 years or 3,100 years, I don't know. And the lady lost her eye on the battle with the robo, and then it becomes with an eye, a robotic eye implemented. It's very strange, all these together, these constructions, and raise on my conscience, of course, many other questions. Current, it is done for me, in the sense that some have fucked this eye. I still have less vision, and I suppose this is definitive, but it's done by chemicals, and yesterday I smell it here, then they are doing this in continuity to make me blind. It's the logical conclusion. There's an Awnser 2 times ago on the supermarket, the lady that comes, an African lady, and just pass in my front with a bottle of whiskey. And she did not speak perhaps of foreigner, I suppose, perhaps she did not even speak Portuguese, I don't know. She just put the bottle of whiskey lie down on the cashier, and she pays and goes on with the whiskey bottle. Can you figure how these twisted peoples are? And then someone projected the P was inverted. I can understand this as someone, for instance, have make analysis. You do analysis to maintain people in suspicion of consumption of what is advantage to you fuckers, to maintain people slavers and an exploitation and to kill people. First point of my statement because it's true. The scene was only this. I can even think that someone has made an analysis to P, the sense that I'm doing on the pot now, do these infamy Nazi conditions. I still insist on matters of capture against the Prime Minister, the President, and the President of the Parliament, and the replacement by people who fulfill integrally the constitutional charter, and first of all the human rights and the rights of property. That make an analysis to another lady or a boy and says inverted in the sense, this kind of projections. We never know in detail what they are speaking, if they are speaking, and not just playing shadows or inductions or behavior trying to modulate moods the way we speak, even to impossibility laugh, which is the base of this race of dragons, I suppose, was, or is. Must I say this to childs? No. That have done to this, saying someone had a disease or a problem or syphilis even. I suppose there was a suggestion of sexual diseases many times. This is a recurrent shadow for years concerning someone. At the same time, that last time that I saw this lady that appears to me in a certain frequency in these slices of yellow with the invisible boyfriend or the invisible son that I don't know, and no one of you as human or woman answers me. On the balcony, like she was separately in an airport, but can be, for instance, a bank, with a lady that seems more old and turned down to not see her, perhaps the man, and the man, and was taking some information. She comes to the invisible in a small tragedy. What you are doing here, I'm leaving your league or something, or club, or whatever group. This is, have multiple, of course, interpretations possible. But what I know, when I returned this last time, end of last week, from Auchan, they synchronized, the door was open on this fake whatever works that these guys acts of theater of hammering with a piece of wood, and they synchronized the re-entrance of Fulgencio of Nato with, I suppose, a small lake, but with a certain distance that I do not even see if it was him really, and a small lake. Entering the building, and I carried the waters of 18 kilos more than others. No, I don't know how many kilos that I'm transport on this slavery crime that no one answers. Slavery is already seems a reality. And I was on the lift, and I listened some noises upper floor, and he descends, Fulgencio, and pass through my things. I say, you want to pass? And he passed in a delicate say, but he says this simple sentence that I can characterize of a fucker that seems have the power to treat people on this way. You come charge. This is a double bullying statement in the sense I was charging with all these kilos, and I had a bottle of wine also. That EFC, I suppose, first thought that comes to my mind in this controlling Nazi way. These are crimes. You have no power to act like this, fucker. Is that you was seeing how many liters of water I had by to make an estimation for a certain number of group of persons that are always interested in that I go out and can synchronize whatever shadows are to not answer me about the sun from 2007 that I do not know nothing. True or false, fucker? Then this goes until this point every day and still goes with the hand of psychiatrists. I can opt doctors or whatever it is, the torsionarios Nazis that serve different interests of different Molochs. Even this ballet last time on Caixa Geral de Deposit Dependence with a lady that the month before was disappeared. You build an online association of ID with an apollo-valent psychologist in the beginning of this crime of my son that are charged for me, no assets. And she disappeared. There was this empty place. Last time she was there, another all the same with a different hair, seems relaxing, smiling. All the months before that I was there, she was like with the boy that seems the younger Maya, and looking and taking notes. There was always a display, and was a change of positions and such of replacement, all the same, with a relaxing whatever act done by God. Certainly when you still forged the names of my parents and the translations, and you build suggestions, Nazi suggestions of peoples that are Nazis without any harm. Francisco Manutenção, which is the name of my, that I can read by the abbreviation as Francisco Manutenção. Like paying a contribution for a fucking lady that is responsible for the robbery, if not the death of my son. You are all crazy and you are all less than dogs, fuckers. And have you done something wrong to this lady? Then it appears another. So it's a very twisted mirror of induction, emotional terms to control peoples, to maintain slavery, exploitation and torture. I want to so that I'll do to me, ladies and sirs. I'm living in this country in flesh. I have peoples that are responsible for political gestion public that must respect the laws, or they answer straightly, or they must abandon functions and be replaced by peoples who answer according to the law. It's so simple as this, fuckers. Seeing these diabolic demiurges, because this is built by people's own flesh. And these are criminal purpose, objectives of nature and reality of process. Anyone else contradictory on this point? There's no innocence on these constructions. This question of the robots, I have just recently integrated again the robber that I suppose is connected with 9/11 of Channel Zero, that no one answers. Neither this question is or not connected with the question of the 9/11. These are not the same peoples behind. Not even this question you answer, we have a real consequence if I believe in 2011 images, 2001 image, 9/11, 3,000 people around there. That's very strange after all these years, with a lot of other questions that I have raised that no one answers. Then the reality is the dominant. You pretend always to maintain people's own shadow, to maintain them on these machines of war and exploitation and slavery and torture and murder and flesh to the cannons of different cannons and different peoples behind cannons with different interests, because cannons still be operated not by androids or robots but by peoples. I have integrated these. I have also integrated the fact of the first impeachment and robbery of the first Google account from 2003 with this construction on R2, which is a robot, very sympathetic, that belongs to the Star Wars. For this reason, have these values concerning Japan from large years and Los Angeles by pieces that are detailed by my side, never an answer, a contradictory answer detailed point by point. As for instance, the ELM book of Lucas Corporation, Inc. that I buy in London, come to me by chance or not, for instance. You say to me, oh, we can answer this. You buy this book in 90, whatever. Indeed, there are some questions that are difficult to understand and more impossible to understand if you still go on changing all the history and registers of each animal. Then this has a criminal purpose of destruction of humankind, Fakar. Shall I be more clear? How? Peoples are memory. Conscience is based on memories. Then there too, you have mounted something that I do not even realize because you do these crimes in total impunity. You never answer. What was indeed the problem? A shadow play that's a robot. The story was a lady that was on the space station or something in the kind with a robot that portrays the relation of mother and son. And the robot changed her sexual machine to give her more pleasure, and she goes after him because she realized this is a very easy transposable image and narrative to relations of parents with child when they do tricks, and that can be even dangerous was not even the case, and goes around after them, but in a lovely way. I suppose you have mounted something about sexually, but never strayed. I don't know what. The question, the reality that I know is the damage of the non-access and the robber of 30 years before, of production already more or less at that time. This is the reality of damage. This is the reality and nature of the crime, and goals and purpose and reality. What you have done to mount this, I don't know, because I have asked, what's the problem? I have write whatever complaints on Google. They do not have, as usual, as how many, any answer. Then the reality says this is active things. The Google third part, between whatever. This is not compete to me. People do not have the means even to evaluate these by themselves. It's not expectable because this is not a relation with someone at my home, which means this is a service, this is a business, must answer by the business and the rules. But I have also remember that Francisco has received on these tricky objects, gifts that they give to him, a robot, and the fear that he has about robots. There's a very whole story that I have speak very beautiful on Bandesnian, which is the time of, well, the humans, to survive outside their home, they dress armors in metal, like they become robots, all covered, masks, And there's a couple which is in love, and one day goes to the nature, to the field as we go before in weekends and make picnics and things like that. And start taking, they made kisses and love by a cable that comes from the umbilical and connects them. And this day they take the armor boat, and at that time comes a kind of formiga marabunda that is on the table by other effects, some not far away, as you can remember, of plagues and problems of existence on this planet, and they are hit completely until the bones in just a minute or two. This is a story that has more than 30 years or 40 years, but still goes on these installations that I'm speaking about. I have nothing against fiction and portrayal of fictions. I'm starting to be a little bit troubling when I see a story where a lady that was harmed by a robot comes with a robotic eyes to replace at the same time that you have make an attack to diminish my vision. Well, I still insist. We live on a society common with others, independent of being a phantom or whatever. The peoples who carry public functions are obliged to answer by law. If they do not answer by law, they must be replaced by peoples who answer by law. So simple as this. It's still the same every time that I go home, out, they enter, and even when I sleep, and they fuck what they want in property term level, even the towers now, all my towers, as I showed to you all. The infamy goes until this point, fuckers. Can't be. These are crimes by law. And remediation concerning the health assurance. You do not answer at the Portuguese and European level because you all intend to kill me before giving me even an answer concerning my son and having preparing gold to steal the rest. Is this not true, ladies and sirs of Europe? Still exist, fuckers? You know well the situation of my mouth. I need my assurance. And I need an answer. What is the transition to not give this answer? Who is behind the non-answer systematic for 2 years, even changed the last letter delivered, softened the terms of accusation to Algiers, at the same time that the appearance of a monster of 9/11, that no one even answers after more than 20 years. If these images are really New York at that time or have been treated in digital ways to create all these fantasies to entangle many people around the world, including me. There's forgery my manuscript letter where I present the terms after 2 years, and I say, if you say that I have received the money, make the proof, the check. They do not even answer this. When I make the last letter and they say, this configures that you are interested on criminal interests of maintenance of my slavery, my exploitation, and my debt, and I do not have answer. 2 Christmas ago. Do you think problems on flesh of humans solved by themselves with time, or normally they aggravate if they are not treated? Who is behind this crime of robber of assurance? Why I do not have a compensation concerning this question? Fucker, who answers? No answers replaced by people who answer by the law. Because trying to kill others still be and is, I suppose, by the Portuguese law, crime. These kind of constant crimes of forgery, even of manuscripts, harmful peoples by night, like doping and other substances, to make forgeries are criminals. Forgery is a crime. Forgery of documents of this nature, namely protection of health, can aim and aim many times suicide, attempts of murder. These people must be account on law. Why no one answer by law on this country? Who is the Moloch cupper that seems to have the perverted Nazi power against all the constitutional charter and human rights to curb all the bodies and functions and respect of the law in this country? And the replacement of these forgery identity cards, as you have. And I want my driver's license that says on the criminal Nazi way, as considered proof. I want the issue of a functional driver's license. I want damage compensation concerning all this damage on my property that are ways to maintain slavery exterminium. Who answers by law, fucking hammering operation was being done by the other building, not apparently by the discover illegal terms of works on the upper floors. Who answers by law, fucking these are torture crimes of expoliation and slavery with torture and damage, physical damage. Who answers by law, fucking? Who opens immediately my water, fucker? For all the world, I'm saying this for Geneva Committee Anti-Torture of ONU from 2011, the time of the tsunami Japan, when you start torturing me on a daily basis. I do not have answers. I'm addressing to the Security Council of ONU. I do not have answers. These are ways to maintain this slavery until the coffin, with expoliation every day, and robber of musics including. These are crimes. Why I do not have answers? Who are the perverted powers that rules above the law and the human rights and the constitutional chart on this country, fucker? Less than dogs. Man's answer. And that I have asked by this continuous destruction of my PCs that aim slavery, expoliation and homicide, attempt of murder and extermination on the bank account to allow me to buy a PC that I can work properly, fuckers. These are crimes. Why no one answers? Who have the perverted power on this republic to curb the law? Ruled by law concerning these going on crimes that are process of slavery and expoliation and exterminium through Caixa Geral de Depósitos for 2024, at least, where you steal robber money without reparation, with complicity with organisms and institutions of state like yes, I want this money back on my account, fuckers, and I want these people who are responsible by these acts who are crimes of robbery, arrest, fucker. Who answers by law in this republic? A final end on this communication infamy Nazi crime. I'm in circle on technology terms and commercial terms for 20 years, fucker. These are crimes with a degradation until the infinite almost. Who is the fucker who have the current Nazi power progress against the law of this republic?